Hello, it's day 75 on the 75 Soft Challenge. We've made it to the end. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kanisha. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get updated on new videos. Today I'm going to tell you about how I transformed my life in 75 days by doing the 75 Soft Challenge, and I'll be sharing with you the what, the why, the how, and also some lessons learned and tips in case you're also interested in doing the same challenge. Without further ado, let's get straight into this. So to give you a bit of background about the 75 Soft Challenge, here it is. So you can either do the 75 Soft or the 75 Hard Challenge, and both of them have slightly different rules. I put an image here to show you what the differences are. But with the 75 Soft Challenge, it felt more suited to my lifestyle and felt something that I could definitely do within the time period without too much of a hassle. So for the rules for 75 Soft, the main things you have to do is to eat well and only drink alcohol on social occasions, to drink 3 litres of water a day, exercise for 45 minutes and have 1 active rest day, 10 pages of reading any book, and no progress photos required. So those are the 75 Soft rules, and then I also tweaked it again so that it suited me a little bit better. So some of the changes that I made was to have at least 30 minutes of reading of any book, because I already love to read, so I wanted to push up the time amount. When it came to the water intake, I have 2 of these bottles a day, which this one is 750 mils for reference sake, because the other water amount was a bit like, oh, that's a lot to have every single day. Still stuck to the nutritious food, but I didn't have a strict diet. My main focus was to have portion control and almost work in a calorie deficit. And then when it came to the fitness, I'll do 1 workout every single day, at least 30 minutes each workout, and then I'd have my 1 rest day. And the last one that I added in that's not within the same one is to do Bible study. So I added in at least 30 minutes of Bible study every single day. So those were the rules that I stuck to for the 75 days. So let me tell you why I wanted to do this challenge. So for me, I had really big motivators. I was told for medical reasons that I needed to make drastic changes to my fitness and my health in order to improve my, I guess, outcomes, as you could say. And the other thing is, I really wanted to improve my discipline. I know discipline is tied into pretty much your whole life, whether it comes to work, whether it comes to your personal pursuits, who you are as a person. Discipline is such an important characteristic, and I knew I really wanted to become more disciplined in my life. And I figured by doing the 75 Soft Challenge, because it requires you to show up every single day for 75 days, it would really hone in that skill of discipline. So those were the 2 bigger motivators as to why I did the 75 Soft Challenge. And I started on 22nd of July and I ended in October. So it really was peak summer. A lot of social activities were happening at the time, very busy time, and the sun was out, which I actually think helped me to do a lot of the workouts that I did, keep it fun, but also keep me super accountable. So let's go into each of these months and I'll tell you a few tips that I have that really helped me get past each month. So I started doing the 75 Soft Challenge end of July. So to give you a bit of context, I had just come back from Australia and there was a lot of social functions happening around that time, and it was definitely very busy. So already I knew I had to find at least 5-day period where I wouldn't have something that was like a social thing or something planned, so that I could get the ball rolling. So knowing myself, I have this thing where whenever I start something new, usually after day 3 I struggle to do it. And I knew last time I tried to do the 75 Soft Challenge, I stopped at day 3. So I was like, I need at least 5 days to get the ball rolling, to do exercise each of those days just to get me into the routine. And once I got past that initial 3 days and it started to be like 6 days going, I was like, okay, I found my rhythm, I found my groove. So that's tip number 1, is to make sure you start the challenge at a time that's not super busy and not super hectic with social functions and that sort of thing. So the month of July, I did 9 workouts. So the main workouts I did was running, strength training and Pilates. And so I'd mix between those 3 workouts over those 9-day period. And then in August, that's when I ramped up and introduced a few more sports. For the month of July, I ended up reading 6 books. So it was a really good reading month for me. Definitely did at least 30 minutes of reading each day. More likely 2 hours of reading a day, to be quite honest with you, especially with how many books I got through. but it was a mix of non-fiction and fiction books, which also is another thing that I like about the 75 Soft Challenge, is you do get to read any genre of books. You're not strictly limited to the non-fiction books. So the month of August, which was my first full month of this challenge, was all about shaking things up and trying new sports. So I was really lucky that I got to do quite a few sports with other people. So I started doing tennis sessions. I don't know if you know this, but Barclays do free tennis sessions in the summer, and so my local tennis club was doing 3 sessions on a Saturday, and I showed up. So I did the first one by myself, and then the next one I did it with friends or family, and that was fantastic. I really encourage you as well, when you want to do workouts or you want to be more active, is to invite other people in your life to join you on them. It honestly takes away the pressure of working out, and it makes it such a fun activity that you can bond with your loved ones and spend quality time with them as well. Another thing that I did a lot was go on long walks, whether that was in my neighborhood or somewhere new, or going for hikes. I really loved this time of being outside and taking those leisurely walks, and often I do them with other people as well. So once again, it was a great chance to just chat, catch up, but also to see new places that I may otherwise not have seen. With the Pilates, I kept this up. So I was doing Move with Nicole. I discovered Flow with Mira, who I recommend up until today. She's fantastic, especially if you want to do beginner Pilates lessons. It's all on YouTube, all for free. And I also did strength training. So now that I was picking up how much running that I'm doing in the week, I really needed to work on my strength training and to really support my knees and my legs so that they can handle those runs. So that was a new thing that I also introduced in the month of August. With other aspects of the challenge, such as nutrition and water intake, that was also something that I was becoming more used to and adjusted to. So when it came to the food shop, I'd always try to make sure I'd pick nutritious items for dinner. Water intake, just consciously making sure that I'm drinking my water. When it came to the alcohol part, I didn't struggle with it because I don't drink alcohol anymore. I stopped back in January. So when it came to social occasions, it wasn't an issue for me because I just didn't drink alcohol anyway. So in the month of August, I ended up reading 6 books, and mainly on the fiction side with 1 non-fiction book. My second tip is to make sure that you spice up what you do as you work out and change up your routine, because that's the way that you keep excited when it comes to this challenge, and also you can try new things that you may otherwise not have done. Now September was a little bit more challenging. The weather was changing up, it was starting to get a little bit colder, and also I did have a trip at the end of August where I went on holiday. So that was a big test for me to see, will I keep up this fitness life that I'd chosen for myself? And the answer to that was yes. When I was on holiday, I did go on a few runs, and we went on a long hiking trip. So those are the ways I was still able to incorporate fitness and working out into my day-to-day life, even on a holiday as well. And then, as I said, in September, the weather was starting to get a bit colder. So some of the things that I was doing beforehand, I couldn't do as much, but I still try to keep changing things up. Another tip that I have for you is to celebrate the progress. I had rewards tied into different milestones that I'd reach, whether it was related to my weight, whether it's related to a new running distance that I could do. I tried to find little ways to reward myself so that I'd really keep myself motivated. So for example, when I ran my longest distance, I made sure I'd got myself a treat and bought a new book. Or sometimes you might have a sweet treat. Whatever it is, find ways to tie in rewards with reaching a new milestone. That way you get to celebrate as you're going along, and it can really push you to keep going until day 75. Another thing that also really helped as tip number, I think we're on 4 or 5 now, is to keep an accountability circle, whether that's people that you speak to every day, your friends, your family. I end up making a separate Instagram account dedicated to running and fitness. So find a way to keep accountable so that you can document your progress, you can let people know that you're still doing this challenge, what day you're on, and also know that people will be checking in to see how you're getting on. It's not just something that you yourself know about, so that when you stop, nobody's going to ask you about it. No. I told pretty much anybody who would listen that I was doing the 75 Soft Challenge, and I truly think that was the thing that really kept me accountable to showing up and doing that fitness and doing the things that I said I was going to do within this challenge, because people would genuinely ask just to see how I'm getting on, to encourage me, support me, and just help facilitate our day-to-day life so that I can reach the goal that I set out to do. So yeah, so that was September. Once again, I still kept a variety of different workouts within that month. I think in September I read about 5 books, and then our final month is October. I only had about 2 weeks of October of doing this challenge, and as I started off saying, in September it was getting colder, so I think the changes in temperature really had an impact on the workouts I was able to do, because obviously you can't go as many runs if it's cold. But what I did find is that where I couldn't do the workouts outside, whether it was a run or a walk, I really picked up on the at-home workouts, so that the strength training and the Pilates, I just showed up more in those aspects. So don't be afraid to switch up the workouts that you're doing to accommodate the change in season, and don't let that be thing you're motivated by. So if I saw that it's grey and rainy, I really try not to base my motivation on working out on the weather. It was purely on, I have to get this done. And I remember, I think it was end of September, I had a trip to Germany, and so the day that I was flying out to Germany, I had to wake up at like 6 a.m. so that I could get my workout done, because I knew I wouldn't have a chance to work out that day. So what you end up finding is that your mindset and mentality shifts so much by doing this challenge that you will make time to do the things you need to do for this challenge. You will prioritize the things that are necessary to achieve your goal. And now October, like I said, I did about 2 weeks of the challenge in the month of October, and this was where we were going for the final stretch, and I was so close now. I remember day like 60 to day 70, I really just was celebrating. I was celebrating every single day that I was going to do a workout. I was celebrating every single time that I was finishing another day of the challenge, because it was getting harder. You know, when you get so close to the finish line, you just either become a bit complacent, and I found that I was having that experience between day 60 to day 70, that I really was like, no, Kanisha, remember why it is that you're doing this challenge, and remember to show up, put as much effort as you can into each of the things that you're meant to be doing, so that by the time I did day 70 to day 75, it was just a pure celebration for how far I'd come along in this challenge. The last tip that I'd have that I would really recommend is for you to take as many photos or videos of your journey, and also the before the start of the journey. Like when I look back at some of my old photos and videos, it's amazing to see the transformation that can have. My other way that I track this, I know that there's different apps for keeping track of the 75 Soft Challenge, but for me, I actually kept it simple. I had a notes page. I'll show you my notes page, and every single day I would just add in what I did that day. So as you can see, it's like a long list of different things that I did each day, and that was the way that I was able to track the 75 Soft Challenge. So definitely have a look to see what systems and tools you can use to help document your journey, but document it so that you don't lose track. And like I said, my free way of doing it was just writing it in my notes app, and then hoped that I just don't forget. And then I came to the end of it, day 75. I celebrated by baking some cookies. I really wanted to do something to tie up the whole workout, to tie up the whole challenge, and to really celebrate the achievement of what I've been able to do. The results I've gained have been absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if I'm going to do like a side-by-side photos of how I look before versus how I look now, but inside my body I feel great. I feel stronger. I feel greater mental resilience and more discipline in the things I do day to day and how I'm showing up for myself, which I think, like I said at the beginning, that's one of the things I really wanted to get out of this challenge. I really wanted to push myself to see what it would look like when I showed up for myself every single day for a period of time, and that's the fuel that I need to just keep these changes going forward for the rest of my life. Ideally, the habits I've been able to build into my day-to-day life, from Bible studies to reading regularly, working out, eating nutritious food, more water intake, those are things that just improve your life on a day-to-day basis for the better. And so I've tried as much as I can to keep it going where I can. And yeah, I just want to encourage anybody else who wants to do a challenge like this, or is really thinking about transforming their lives within a period of time. I just want to remind you that you are more than capable of doing that thing, and that it will get hard at some points, but when you know why you're doing the thing and understand that as a motivator, or the thing that keeps you going, then there's nothing that you can't achieve. Like, I'm rooting for you, and if you ever need a pep talk or just encouragement on this challenge, send me a message. I'm just, yeah, always happy to talk about it. And to be honest with you, I think I want to pick up another challenge soon after. I just feel like this challenge really gave me a framework to work within, and I need that when it comes to working out and doing things. It's like I thrive within a challenge. I thrive within, like, you know, for running, if I have a race, then that really pushes me to do what I need to do to show up. That's been my journey with the 75 Soft Challenge. Like I said, I started 22nd of July and then I finished it in October. I'll have to put the date up here because I've completely forgotten it, but it's literally not that long ago. And yeah, it's transformed my life for the better. I think you could see how it's changed my life, but even just in the thing that I mentioned at the beginning with health reasons, I have honestly had such a big improvement in my outcome, and it's good news. So that's another big celebration for this challenge, and just being really happy that I did make this decision for myself to just improve my life for the better by doing it. So yeah, thank you so much for sticking out to the end. I know I talked a lot and hopefully I haven't missed anything in what I've had to share, but yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe as well at the end of this video, and I will catch you in my next one.